Now, I've got no beef with the ordinary men and women of the Metropolitan Police, or the massive majority of them. I can't imagine how low morale is at the moment, given recent events and continuing stories. But most police officers would quite like to solve crimes. There you go. I tried to pick the least controversial description of the police service that I could think of. Most police officers would quite like to solve crimes. You don't join the police force to not catch crooks, right? You don't say, what am I going to do for a career? Or I'd like to join the police so that I don't get to catch crooks. You join the police thinking you're going to catch crooks. At least I presume you do. So how has this happened? Why? Is it fixable? Is it numbers? When we got burgled, I thought, naively, that it would be A, a priority to catch the burglars that burgled us, and B, not that difficult. And the bit that always haunts me is the fact that they told me they were pretty sure who it would have been. There were two families on the estate where we used to live that had a reputation for robbery, or it would be the local drug addict. The local Class A, usually heroin or crack cocaine addict. And I found that amazing. So I was like, well, why don't you just go and kick their door in then? See if they've got my laptop in the sitting room. I still don't know why they couldn't do. Well, I suppose no grounds. Otherwise they could kick in any door they wanted. I hope Priti Patel's not listening. This will be law by tea time. So I wonder why of it. Why? Why is it so rare for burglars to be caught? 03456060973. Lacey points out, what you really want, James, is a burglar who voted for Brexit. who is less likely to ring in a working burglar to give us the ins and outs of the trade, or an unrepentant Brexit voter? I don't know. But I do know this. You wake up in the night and you sense that something's wrong. This is what happened to me. I had a new baby in the house, my firstborn, and it was something about that, because they got the windows open downstairs. They were passing stuff out through the windows, and it must have just created a draft that was not normal in our house. It must have created a draft because the bathroom door was catching in a way that it never does. Quite quiet, but just, so it was obviously opening and closing, so the air was sucking down the stairs, and it had caught the bathroom door. My baby's bedroom is at the top of the stairs, and I thought, that's just not quite right. And so I got up and turned on the lights, at which point, I know now, they piled out, they dove out the window, and my PlayStation and a few other things were still piled up at the open window, and they drove off in our car. I think as I was coming down the stairs, I thought, that engine, and you know me, I'm the least petrol-y person in the history of the petrol engine, but somehow I recognised the tone of the car. I thought, that's our car, that sounds like our car. And off they went. And I'll never know, between you and me, I'll never know whether it was the burglary or whether it was parenthood. But I don't think I slept in quite the same way for 10 years after that. I really don't. And the baby was young, and you know what it's like in those early days. They're so exhausted all the time. So maybe it was parenthood that changed the way I slept, because you've always got one ear out in case the baby's crying. Or maybe it was burglary, because you never respond to a noise in the night after you've been burgled in the same way that you do before, do you? I don't, anyway.